What's good, BEVIS, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast, the dream team, Tony Bellew, Dave Coldwell. How are we both?
Good, getting the gang back together.
Yeah, surviving, cracking on. Nothing's better than spending time with the coach, mate. Fantastic goal.
Yeah, well, good. Nice to see him. Nice to catch up as it is, you know, especially in such surroundings and great weather.
I said to you, Tony, does this not give you that little buzz? Does this not make you want to do a Roy Jones, do a Mike Tyson and get back in the ring? But you're just like, fuck nah.
No, no, it doesn't actually give me that buzz. I mean, if you took me to the O2, I definitely get that feeling then, but no, not here, because I never fought in the garden. So when I came here the last time for the last 5 camps and seen the ring, I thought, oof, that'd be good. But then that was what? A year ago, 18 months ago? So
a year in August.
Yeah, a year in August, so that was quite a while ago. But yeah, I don't get them mad buzzes, but it's what it is, mate. Not about me. It's about the current crop and the future. Hopey Price.
Yeah. Hopey Price is one of Dave's future. Yeah, I mean, you're still in the game, training-wise, but this must give you the buzz as well.
Oh, I love it. You know, I was lucky enough to have 2 fighters on last year on Fight Camp. Jordan opened the first. He was the first fight on Fight Camp, and then the week later it was Hopey's turn. So this time around we're gonna have some fans. We're gonna have some. Eddie just told me about what he's thinking about doing, and it's exciting. It's, you know, it's going that extra level, and I'm looking forward to the atmosphere, and hopefully we'll get the weather again, and it'll be good.
You don't do things by halves, Eddie. We know that much. Joe, I just got you to him because I just thought let's have a little chat about the past almost. I know we haven't got too long, the press conference isn't going to start soon. But yeah, I don't know, can I just hand the mic and sort of let you two talk about your experiences, please?
Yeah, I don't know where this is going to go, but yeah, we've had a great time. We've done everything we set out to do, achieved it all.
Mission accomplished, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, mission accomplished. I went to Dave, told him what the dream was, and Dave helped me achieve it. Top and bottom, literally the dream, and we both achieved it together. So without him, I could never have done it. I've always said that he's the best coach in the country. And he'll say, you're saying that because you're biased. No, I'm just saying it because
biased a little bit.
How'd you add to a 30-year-old's game? Or I think I was 28, 29 when I come, I'm not sure. I was thereabouts, but added to a 30-year-old's game. I became a much better fighter, a much more well-rounded fighter, and learns an awful lot. Dave doesn't get the credit he deserves because he's not a trainer who makes it about him. So some trainers want to turn up to venues and make it about them. Dave was never like that, so because you're not like that, sometimes you don't get the plaudits and the credit you deserve, and Dave's one of them. So I'll just give it, to be honest, I'll just tell her how it is. Like I said, the proof's in the pudding, literally. Added to my game, made me a better fighter, a more rounded fighter. And people only have to look at my previous performances earlier on in my career to the way my career finished, and there you go, it says it all. Your chance now, boss.
Yeah, this backslapping little contest. But it also takes the mentality to be able to, at such an advanced stage in his career, to
I'll do this, I'll come over, catch up.
To take on board somebody, a new coach. You know, any fighter that changes coaches when they're used to boxing a certain way, and then taking on board instructions and how they want to, you know, the coach wants them to work, wants them to think. I think that was a big thing, was rein him in sometimes, because in the early days, how many times in sparring where it'd be great, and then he'd get touched, and then the red mist would come, because that's his instinct is to kill you, you know. So it takes a time, but it takes a lot of effort and discipline from the fighter himself, and for him just to stick every day doing what I'm asking him to do. To come from Liverpool, to leave his family and to spend, you know, all camp based there with me, you know, it takes a certain type of fighter to do that. Not a lot of fighters can do that, you know, and the way that we train as well, sometimes it's very monotonous and it's very, very drilled. You know, it might not be the most exciting sort of training. You know, it's not about beasting you and doing circuits and things like that. But, you know, it worked for him. But again, to open your mind up and to stick with it, then, you know, it all hats for him.
Mentally, the training is the hardest part, because it is, like he says, monotonous and repeating all the time and just continuing to improve and drill the same things. I mean, like, I literally wanted to set fire to that ladder after a couple of months. I wanted to do certain things, and I used to be so ingrained in my ways. Big men don't do this. Big men shouldn't do that. And we learned to find the balance of the things that there was some things that I could and couldn't do. So there's things like we used to run up steps for the first 6 months, and then we drafted that out because I'm not getting the same impact as I was. But I go on the ladder and I'd be working just as hard on the ladder as I was on the steps. So we changed, constantly evolved all the time. The training always changed, and we constantly grew and improved. He obviously seen me strengths when the thing with Dave is fighters don't all fight the same. That's the most important thing. And then secondly, he adds to your game. So when I went there, it was quite clear I could punch. I've always been able to punch, but I neglected defence so much. I could counter punch to a certain degree, but I would never go into a fight thinking I'm going to counter punch people. Whereas some fights I'd gone into with Dave where I knew counter punching was the way forward and it was going to be the way I'd win. David A fights, perfect instance. So there was numerous fights in our career that we've had together where the improvements were shown vastly. My most defining fights were under Dave. My biggest wins were under Dave. My best performances were under Dave. It's not a coincidence why all them three things are tied into one. It's down to him. Yes, I've done the work and I do the hard graft that he asks of me, but ultimately he made me see things differently when it came to boxing. That doesn't detract from any of the people I had before me. You know, I always give them credit. Mick McAllister was an amazing coach, a brilliant guy, a lovely fella. But, you know, as I said, it's hard to move on and then continue to learn. I was one of the fortunate few who did. With fighters, I would say, a change is sometimes as good as a break, but you only need to make changes when you're no longer learning, when you're no longer seeing improvements. You should be, as a fighter, seeing improvements fight by fight. You're not gonna. Don't be so naive and stupid to think you're going to see improvements week by week. That's impossible as a fighter. But you are going to see improvements fight by fight. You will do things better. You will gradually relax more. You will gradually take your time. You will break fighters down instead of blowing them away and around. These kind of things are there for everyone to see, and you've got to, you know, implement what's going on in the gym as well. I've seen so many fighters come in the gym, train, be amazing athletes, train super hard, but then go in the ring and just don't do any of what we've been practicing in the gym. And it's not about sometimes going in, smoking someone in the round. It's about working on what you've worked in the gym and putting it into practice. And so many fighters just don't do that these days. They want to go in, impress the crowd, impress the promoter, whatever have you, instead of actually getting ring time and experience and using what you've worked on in the gym to your benefit. Because when it comes to the time when you're fighting guys, and this is the big thing with fighters now, it's well and good at the start, but believe you me, when the fighters start becoming as good as you and they're as quick as you, sometimes they're stronger than you need to have them things flowing, relaxed and loosely that you've been working on in the gym, and they won't work unless you've already performed them time and time again in the ring what you've been doing in the gym. So it's a massive thing. It really is to, you know, to do what in the ring what you've been doing in the gym. It's a massive factor, and thankfully I was able to get that over and do it. Very hard at times. Sometimes didn't agree with some of the things, but you just do them anyway. There've been many days when I've left that gym, mate, and I would think, I'm never coming back. I'm never doing this again. Loads of times, and I'd be lying if I didn't say that, but I went back and I believed and I put my trust in them, and as I said, mate, it worked out. Even in down to the last fight, in my last fight to make it against Alexander Usyk, I'm out boxing one of the best boxers is the best boxer the cruiserweight division's ever seen, purely because of the game plan we'd worked on and what we'd done to achieve that. Yes, I've got tired and got fucked. That's down to me being too fucking old and trying to lose 3 stone before the camp. But I just got beat up by the best fucking fighter the cruiserweight division's ever seen. But ultimately, to come that far from where I was to where I finished is incredible. Completely down to the coach.
And if Boris Johnson needs Tony Bellew to speak on his behalf and make him sound very good, get in touch with IFL TV.
He says, like, 5 minutes, hurry up, make it quick. And then he goes and talks for about 5 minutes an answer. Want him to have a little chinwag. Dave, when it comes to Coach, Tony...
I'm going to catch up with you in a little bit.
Right. Tony Bellew, thank you very much. Yeah, just quickly, one more thing on Tony, because we will talk about some actual current stuff as well. You must get approached by so many fighters that want you to train them, and you've worked with so many different fighters across different weights and whatnot. What is it what do you look for when you meet someone? What's the sort of thing that makes you go, I want to work with them? And what was it about Tony, if you know what I mean?
I'd walked away from coaching fighters when Tony asked me. The only reason why I agreed to train Tony is because we're friends. I knew him before, you know. I took him down to see Warren to sign his first professional contract. So I did that because I like him. Every fighter I've coached since has approached me, and it's because ultimately when I meet them, I like them. You know, Jordan Gill come to me, explained to me his situation. I felt sorry for the kid. You know, his career wasn't going how he wanted. He was unhappy. He was going to walk away from the game. All right, I like him as a kid, so I'll work with him. Same with Fowler. He was a nice kid. You know, regardless of what people think of him, he's a lovely kid. I have to have that sort of bond. You know, Hopi Price right now, he had Charles Frankham asking me to coach him. I said no. His dad rang me up, asked me to coach him. I said no, and he kept on at me. I said, all right, I'll just come to the gym tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. And as soon as I met Opie, then that's it. They've got to have the personality where I like them, and I want to spend my time with them. I want to put my energy in them. And also, physically, I'm very small. I don't know if people have noticed that. I'm very small. So it's hard work when I'm taking them on.
I've never noticed, Dave, don't worry.
So it's hard work when I'm taking them on the pads and things like that. So it's physical, there's injuries and things like that. So you're basically breaking your body up. So you've got to have that relationship with people, and you're spending time away from your family. So, and also a big thing is that they've got to get on with my family, you know, because that's a big part of my life. So we're kind of a family unit together, and that's how it works. And if people tick them boxes, and if I'm excited to work with you, then I'll work with you, you know, and that's all it is, you know.
Right, now the big man's not here, can we tuck you up, Dave? Can you get a bit closer to the camera, because my arm's hurting. Yeah, like, well, you mentioned, like, I've seen pictures of you and your family with your fighters and stuff. Is it almost like that sort of relationship where they can come round for like Sunday lunch? I know that sounds weird, but I mean, you have to sort of ingrain them in, not just in the gym, but in your life, sort of.
They're involved in my life, but I mean, the thing is, they all live away from the gym, so you know, they go home for weekends and things like that. But yeah, I mean, it's like we've done training camps where I brought the family over, and so they're around my family then and things like that. You know, my little boy comes to the gym and he spends time with Hopi and Jordan and Lerone. They're massive influences on my son, you know, because they're young men themselves, and my son sees them, how they're living their lives, and they'll talk to him about how, you know, all their friends will live in a certain way, or they've gone a certain path, but they kind of like ostracize themselves from that, and to follow a dream and to follow their path. And he looks at how successful they are by following their own path rather than just doing what everybody else is doing. And you know, it might be a young kid, but it absorbs, it's an influence, and you know, so the people that are surrounding your kids have just as important influence as what you do on your kids, really. And so I'm fortunate that these guys do that, you know. We're walking the gym, they're talking about him, they'll ask him, you know, they stay in touch with him, you know, and that's family. So that's my kids. My daughter, she calls Derek Chisora her Uncle Deza. You know, Derek's another one. When people don't know him, they don't realise what a good person he is and what a family-oriented man he is. You know, all these big characters like Bellew, they're good people, they're good men. Do you know what I mean? And that's a big part of it. I couldn't spend my time with somebody and coach somebody that I didn't like as a person. Do you know what I mean? So that's why, you know, me and Fowler have split as coaches. We're still friends. You know, I've still got all the time at Wellwyn. We still message, you know, we'll see each other and we catch up as though nothing. It's just that the professional side, the working relationship, I couldn't get the best out of him, and he wasn't performing to the best of his abilities. So it
essentially, then, basically, what you're saying. Sorry to cut you up just quickly. Essentially, what you're saying is that it's not about getting someone in and saying, "Oh, he's good on the pads. We might be able to win him a title." There's a lot more to it than just going on the pads with someone and going, "He's decent."
Yeah, there's a lot more to it than that. I mean, listen, I look good on a set of pads. You know, everyone can look good on a set of pads, but there's a lot more to it. And like I said, the most important thing that I can give somebody right now is my time. And so for me to give them that time, there has to be an upside for me. We have to gel. I have to get 100% out of them, because if you're only giving me 60, 70, 80%, or if you're not doing what I'm asking you to do, what's the point? Well, find yourself a trainer that's gonna do that's going to get that out of you. Do you know what I mean? And because then it's better for you, and it's less stress for me. So it works, you know. And fighters leave coaches for all sorts of different reasons, and then there's bitterness and there's, you know, from each other and things like that. And it's sad because a fighter-coach relationship is a lot tighter than what a fighter-manager relationship is, or a fighter-promoter relationship is.
You're with them every day, I suppose.
Every day, and you see the blood, sweat, and tears. You see the pain they're going through. You see, you know, how they're coping with injuries, niggles, how they're stressing about family life, bringing it into camp, and they've got things going on. You see all that. You see what it means to them all. So when it goes bad, it's heartbreaking. But when like I said, I'll go back again to Fowler, because we've parted ways, but there is none of that. You know, I still want him to win world titles. I still want him to achieve. I'm happy for him that he's going to be a dad, and you know, his CBD business is flying and things like that. Do you know what I mean? Because there's no animosity around it, and you know, that's how it's nice. It should be, because you can come to an event like this. There's no friction. Fowler's here. The first person when we pulled up and we got out of the car was Fowler. Well, hello, lad. You know, and it gives me an hug and things. You know what I mean?
Sorry, where was that accent meant to be from?
Fowler's blag Scouse accent, isn't it? But yeah, it's good. It's good when it's like that. There's no edge.
Because I suppose it is easy to make enemies in a sport where there's a lot of politics and a lot of bullshit. But yeah, like it's just easy to make enemies, isn't it?
Yeah, and that is something that's always going to happen. It doesn't matter who you are. There's always going to be people that don't like you, whether it's people in the industry or outside of it. People like people. People don't like people. You know, you can't be perfect for everybody. Otherwise, it'd be quite straightforward, boring, and also nobody'd ever leave anybody. You know. Promoters lose fighters to other promoters, trainers lose fighters to other trainers, managers lose fighters to other managers. Yeah, that's how it works.
Right, Dave, just a little, I don't know, random, off-the-cuff sort of chat about you and Tony and just life as a trainer. And just a bit random, yeah. Going to talk to Hopi in a sec, but just finally, Hopi fights on Fight Camp. Yeah, what a buzz.
Yeah, he fought on Fight Camp last time round. It was a good experience for him. He looked a lot more like a boy back then. I think he's matured a lot physically over the last 10 months or so since that was. I'm excited for him because listen, he's not getting the big talk and the big build up yet. That'll come. I'm happy with that, but I'm telling you, he is without doubt an elite level prospect, and he's a fighter that's going to go on to do massive things in this sport. And I'm confident in saying that, not just because of his boxing ability and what I see day in, day out, and the rate of improvement that I'm seeing it's because of his mentality. I know that when people start giving him the hype and things like that, it's not going to affect him. He's not going to take his foot off the pedal. I know what his mentality is. I know the kid inside out, and that's why I can speak more freely about him than what I would do about other fighters, because with other fighters you're worried about going to the head, other fighters you're worried about the pressure that you're going to put on by saying things like that. This kid's got the best mentality I've ever worked with, and so that kind of pressure doesn't bother him. It's one of those where it goes, whether it's good or bad, it goes in through his ear, he registers it, he understands it, it comes out. He doesn't hold on to it. He doesn't hold on to negativity. He doesn't hold on to backslapping. So I can speak freely and honestly about what I think about the kid.
All right, Dave, thank you very much for speaking to IFL TV. Press conference about to start soon. And yeah, life is good. Sun's out, match from headquarters.
Guns out.
All good. Not my guns out. Oh, go on. Gun show, no?
Cheers, mate. Good to see you.